let's do it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the special meeting / budget workshop of the Freeport City Council, Monday, June 24th, 2024 at 6 p.m. I will call the meeting to order and declare a quorum is present, and notices have been legally posted pursuant to the Open Meetings Act. For the record, Councilman Pena was unable to make it tonight. If we could, all rise, and we'll have Councilman Rosso lead us in the pledge and invocation.
Let's pray. Gracious Father, we're thankful for your presence in this place. Lord, we thank you, Lord, for everyone under the sound of my voice. We ask you to bless them. Bless this council meeting, Lord, as only you can. We pray for all the shut-in, those that can't make it, all those that want to be here, and we even pray for those online. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, and you may be seated. Do we have anybody signed up for citizens' comments? We do not. So we're going to move on to the work session. Mr. Petty, we're doing things a little bit different this year, so I'd like for you to take a moment and kind of explain the process as you see it.
Yes, sir. Tonight I've asked department heads to give a brief overview of their departments, accomplishments for the year, anticipated accomplishments for next year, and the needs of their departments to maintain current service levels. The departments are still working off of their strategic plans, and I would like to hold questions, and I would prefer council to send any questions over to me so I can get them answered for you later in the week. I would also like council to send me over your top 3 priorities that you'd like to see on this next fiscal year budget, so me and the finance director can work to try to see what all we can fit into this next budget. So tonight they'll give you a quick presentation of each department, their overview and things like that. If you have some questions, that's fine to ask questions as well, but I like to try to keep it to a minimum so we're not here all night.
Sounds good. Council, you got that? All right. Mr. Wade Dillon, you're the top of the list. And it says 15 minutes on here for everybody. If y'all elect to take 5 or 10, we're perfectly fine with that.
All I need is 5. Alrighty, so good evening, Mayor Kane, City Council. First, I want to thank Mayor Kane, Mr. Petty, Mr. Rosso, and Mr. Davis for attending Fort Velasco Day this past Saturday. We had a wonderful turnout with increased participation from the community and statewide institutions. As next year will mark the event's 5th year, you can expect it to be bigger and better. As discussion begins about the city's new fiscal year budget, I'm here to speak in regards to the supplemental requests for the Freeport Historical Museum. First and foremost, I'm requesting a title change from museum manager to museum director. With that, I am also requesting a pay raise to better reflect the quality and scope of my work. Currently, as museum manager, I handle all administrative aspects of the museum, from budgeting, staffing, purchasing, and reporting. I am the sole content creator in regards to new and exclusive exhibits, museum displays, museum events, and all marketing and social media materials. I jointly serve as curator and collections manager over the museum's collection. In short, I wear all of the hats. Compared to what other museum directors are making across the state, I am on the extreme low end in regards to pay scale and do considerably more work. August 20th marks my 4-year anniversary with the city. In these 4 years, I've completely transformed the museum. I've increased visitation and have demonstrated successful, realistic, obtainable growth. My work has won the museum not only awards, but recognition within the county and across the state that benefits our community and the potential that I see within our historic downtown. I want to remain with the city of Freeport to ensure the success of the Freeport Historical Museum. Thus, I am asking for a title change and pay raise. Secondly, as the museum grows, so does the demand for staff. Currently, the museum is staffed by only 2 full-time employees. Myself as museum manager and a museum attendant whose duties are handling museum admissions, visitor engagement, and museum upkeep. As we recently acquired the old college space thanks to City Council's unanimous vote and approval, I am hoping to hire a full-time programs coordinator to assist me in creating museum exhibits, developing and implementing programming for visitors, and organizing events. This would allow me further time to dedicate to the success of the museum by pursuing donors, grants, and sponsorships, as well as continuing to foster relationships with local industry leaders, statewide museum professionals for the benefit of our institution. Hiring additional staff also eliminates scheduling conflicts that arise from having only 2 employees. As the rec center has 2 full-time employees and 3 part-time employees, I would feel very comfortable with 3 museum employees to ensure the museum's continued success. Finally, I am looking to update our exhibit hall space. Right now, the only way I can hang frames from exhibits and events is by drilling into stucco and masonry, which is ugly and counterintuitive. I am requesting supplemental funds to purchase a gallery-style wall hanging system from Gaylord Archival, which includes a track system with cables to hang as many frames as I may need for any exhibit or event. This will provide a clean, uniform look for all exhibits going forward. I would also ask City Council to consider an increase in the museum's advertising budget, as well as building equipment maintenance. With 8,100 followers on Facebook, we do very well with online advertising, and I want to pursue advantageous advertising opportunities. Regarding building and building equipment maintenance, I routinely keep an eye on the 100-year-old museum structure, identifying and advising maintenance needs, cosmetic and security improvements, and acknowledge that the museum requires some tender love and care. Regarding the museum's recent expansion into the old college space, I have begun to receive donors to renovate that space. I recently received a check for $2,500 to go towards updates of the new program space and have received a commitment from another local industry leader. I will continue to pursue those opportunities so that I may begin work on that space as soon as possible so that it may be utilized as intended. In closing, I anticipate another successful year for the museum, and I want to thank the mayor, city council, as well as the Freeport community for seeing the value in our coastal museum. Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. We have one late submission. Ms. Clark?
I kind of wanted to maybe wait till the end after, if that's okay.
That's fine with me. So we'll move on. Miss Anna Silvas.
I'm a visual learner, so
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll go through it quick.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Anna Silvas, Main Street Coordinator. If you'll go ahead and turn to your packet of page 3, we're going to go ahead and dive into the mission of Freeport Main Street Program. The mission of the Freeport Main Street Program is to economically revitalize and historically preserve our downtown area to foster an environment which celebrates our rich history and diversity and offers economic, social, and cultural opportunities. Our program, the Freeport Main Street Program, was approved for recertification in October of 2021, and we entered into the Texas Main Street Program in January of 2022. The work that we do here for our community is guided by the Main Street approach, which there are four areas of organization, economic vitality, design, and promotion. Moving on to page 4, you'll see that there is a map. As of right now, there are a total of 85 Main Street communities. And right now, we are the only designated Main Street community in Brazoria County. So that is really something to be proud of, to earn that designation. If you go on to page 5 in our networks, you'll see that we are a part of the Texas Historical Commission, the Main Street America Network, and Texas Downtown. All of these networks provide us with resources to move our downtown revitalization efforts forward. Moving on to page 6, you'll see we have our transformation strategies. You might ask, what are transformation strategies? Simply put, transformation strategies guide our downtown development work. So as of January, our board did decide on going with the foundation building and business activation and development. So regarding foundation building, we do focus on the key foundational elements that we need for a successful community program. Additionally, in our business activation and development strategy, we focus on activating our current vacant sites in downtown and supporting the needs of our current establishments that are already within the downtown district. Moving on into the future, we do hope to do a tourism and eco-recreational strategy, which focuses on our assets, and we could use them as economic drivers for downtown. So going on to page 7, pages 7 through 12 really just highlight our special events. It's always great to see pictures. We do post on Facebook highlighting all of our events. So in October, you will see that we had our fall market. On page 9, you'll see our Dia de los Muertos, which was hosted in November of 2023. This was a joint partnership with several community organizations across the county. In December, we did host our Christmas on the Coast market, which was a success as well. We did have some bad weather, rain, but always looking forward to see how we can plan and improve our events for next year. Additionally, in February, we did have our Share the Love Community Resource Fair, which was hosted in partnership with United Way of Brazoria County and Star of Hope Mission. This was just an event to connect our residents to resources. Again, pictures really showcase, all the memories that are made in downtown. Most recently, we had on page 12, we had our Cinco de Mayo celebration, which was also a great success. We had Mariachi Orgullo perform, as well as AISD, Angleton Independent School District Ballet Folklorico. Again, connecting our community to a different, diverse set of vendors and entertainment. Going on to page 14, our current projects and accomplishment. As you all know, we are currently working with the UTSA Center for Urban and Regional Planning Research. And also, we are a vital stakeholder with Gensler, the Gensler project that is being conducted by the Freeport Economic Development Corporation. So if you move to page 15, it just gives you an overview of what the Center for Urban and Regional Planning Research is. The key areas of focus that this organization is looking at for our community is surrounded around community design, environmental resilience, housing, transportation, historic preservation, programming, and economic vitality. So moving on to page 16, you'll see the study objectives that UTSA is currently looking at for our downtown plan, comprehensive plan. So our plan will be made up of 3 parts, which includes an introduction, a downtown plan, and historic district guidelines. I won't go over all of those areas, but this is just for your information. On page 17, you'll see our 2024 project timeline. As of right now, we are currently in the review, the preliminary draft. We do have a community visioning session coming up, which you will see on the next page. But as of right now, this is where we're at in the project, and our anticipated project deadline is August 31st. Page 18 just recaps our community visioning session. We did have a total of 48 community stakeholders that were attending, and so hopefully for our next session, we'll be able to boost that number up. On page 19, you'll see our community visioning session flyer for our second and final visioning session. It's going to be held July 18th, 2024 at Freeport River Place from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is to highlight key priorities and strategic initiatives that are going to come out of this plan. On page 20 and 21, just highlighting the EDC project, which Main Street is a partner with because this project is right outside of our downtown district. So it's important that we're working together and collaboratively to ensure that these two projects are connecting. And if you flip to page 22, just as a knowledge, downtown TERS, we do have a TERS, which is a tax increment reinvestment zone that was created to help finance public improvements and infrastructures for the downtown area. So this will highlight the downtown map, the TERS map for you all. Going on to page 23, upcoming projects and scopes, project scopes. We have our Next Trex Community Recycling Challenge that is currently ongoing, which we're doing to really promote sustainability and to assist in efforts to divert plastic waste from ending up in landfills. This is a partnership between Freeport Main Street Program, the Brazosport Breakfast Lions Club, and the Freeport Police Department, as we do have a drop-off location here outside council chambers and at City Hall for residents to drop off plastic. As of today, we have collected 504 pounds, and our goal is 100 pounds, so we have little less than 3 months to collect, but it's been a really great initiative, and we look forward to continue it into the next year. On page 25, you'll also see the Tourism Friendly Texas Certified Community Program. This is an active project that we are currently working with the Office of the Governor in Economic Development and Tourism to earn this designation to pursue tourism as an economic development strategy. Additionally, this certification program seeks to encourage communities to participate in state government programs available to support tourism development. This was brought forward to us by one of our board members, Edith Fisher, who is the Director of Tourism for the Brazosport area of Chamber. So I'm really glad that she brought this forward to us. Moving on to page 26, you'll see Scenic Texas. This is another project that we are currently working on, the Scenic City Certification Program, which was created to provide support and recognize municipalities that are implementing high-quality scenic standards for public spaces across Texas. Some of the evaluated areas that they will be evaluating us on include streetscape enhancements, parks, design integrity, and special programs. So this program is really used to help municipalities improve their ordinances and highlight the relationship between nature and our built environment. If you move to page 27, you'll see the EPA Brownfields Assessment Grant. The city was awarded this grant, and Freeport Main Street will be working with the city administration and the Freeport Economic Development Corporation to assess key sites within our city to determine if there are any environmental complications prior to development. This is a 4-year grant, and this tool is basically a redevelopment tool for our community. Moving on to page 28, one thing our board has talked about is also looking to see how we can get the younger generation involved. So we're looking forward to creating a downtown ambassador program. This would offer the opportunity for the youth to have community engagement and also increase their sense of community pride, and it also builds our next generation of community volunteers. So we're really looking at ways that we can partner with our local school districts. Moving on to page 29, and community engagement and professional development. They're both really vital to the progress of our program. It's really crucial that we continue to work with our residents, our local chambers, community leaders, and financial institutions to move our mission forward. Related to the budget on page 30, our current operating budget is $139,352. The only thing that Main Street is really requesting is something simple, just to reallocate some funds from our advertising line and special events to create a special projects line item within our budget. And this is just if there's some sort of project we would like to contribute to, and not always have to ask other, groups or organizations for funds. We can contribute to purchasing, whether it be downtown banners or whether it be hosting a downtown community cleanup event, just so we have something specific so that Main Street can contribute to. So other than that, that's all I have. But if you have any questions, my contact information is in there, and feel free to reach out to me at any time.
Thank you, Ms. Silvas. Ms. Clark, you changed your mind?
Maybe be quicker if I just ask like after each one. Carla Clark, 411 Sailfish. On these projects such as the Main Street Board and the museum, where do we stand on our line items for money in, money out? Because the festivals and stuff are wonderful, but what do we make off those actually? I mean, maybe Kathy can get that for us and see, because in my vision, we have to look at what these things are going to make us to be there and make us, what we get in return to paying for all of the things that we're doing in there.
Thank you. Brian?
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
To get started, as you can see from the reports that I've sent you, we've had a pretty busy year. To kind of go over some of the accomplishments and projections, last year we reached our goal of 30,000 guests, which rounds played. This year we're actually on track for 31,000, which would be all-time highs for the golf course. Revenue budget this fiscal year is at 762,000, and we're actually right on track, Mother Nature willing. As we get into storm season, we're actually on track to get right at $1 million. So that's been a nice increase. Our tournaments, which, thanks to some of our Olin Phillips, some of these major tournaments or big tournaments that are coming in, which I like call quality tournaments, have really helped with our tournament scheduling, which is actually also at an all-time high. And our weekend tournament days are actually completely booked through the remainder of the year, of this calendar year. Our driving range revenue is on track to double this year as well. Last but not least, our youth program, which we have a 14 and under play for free, is actually over 1,000 rounds this year, and 18 and under will be close to 5,000 rounds. So that's, when starting, that was a major goal. 17, 18 years ago, was a major goal to actually have a youth program to see the community. Not only that, our high school, we actually have 3 high school events every year, as well as Brazosport. We're home to their golf team, but we have 3 events, which has each event has about 9 to 10 schools throughout the area that show up. So that's been as well. It's nice to see. To kind of go over this year, if looking through the notes, this year our budget is basically flat from last year, with the exception of our new golf cart fleet, which that lease expires this year, or yes, going into next year. And looking at some of these expenses, as we've tried to keep as flat as possible. If we have any growth, even as prices go up, where we're at, you'll see some challenges of trying to stay in there, kind of under your supplies, vehicle and grounds maintenance, just because of the wear and tear that we're seeing with additional tournaments, supplies. Everything's kind of, as you have more people coming in the shop, those numbers go up. Like I said, we will try our best to stay as flat as possible in that. Some areas to kind of look at with this growth surge that we continue to see over the past few years. My staff has done an excellent job of maxing out our daily tee sheet, especially on the weekends. With the current golf cart fleet, we do have to block some of these tee times to make sure all that our current reservations are taken care of. if we go through our T sheet and we book every single one, we just don't have the fleet to accommodate that. I have also with us close to our max capacity, it will be difficult when you look at like merchandise numbers. If you've seen the merchandise numbers, you've seen some of the numbers, how they've grown over the years. When you start getting to maxing out your T sheet, you're not having that more people come in the pro shop. Right now we're averaging on the weekends we're doing about 155 rounds, and that's, like I said, our fleet that's maxing out. So with that, when you have, maxing out those numbers, you're not having more people come in. It's going to be difficult to grow, your merchandise. Obviously, without a grill and stuff like that, your food and beverages, at some point you're going to get kind of at your limit. So that down the road, that's probably somewhere we need to kind of say, hey, look, what do we do? What can we do to grow that? We know past discussions where those numbers are. Just something to look at, guys. Down the road where we're at. I do have, with some of the expenses and stuff, I do have a rate increase of $2 per round for this next fiscal year, with a $10 per month membership to kind of help offset. Like I said, if you put the numbers out with 31,000 rounds, that will definitely help offset some of the expenses that we've seen. But other than that, that is all I have. Short, sweet, to the point. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Toby, you're up.
Mayor, Council, good evening. My name is Toby Cullen. I'm the IT manager for the City of Freeport. I currently handle all the technology needs for the city, ensuring everything runs smoothly and efficiently. I want to share what I do in the IT department, highlight some of our big successes from this year, and give you a look at future plans. My department helps the city run by implementing new technology while removing downtime and fixing problems as they arise. The goal being, of course, to improve life for residents and employees. What I do as the current only IT member of the IT department cover a wide range of tasks to keep our technology in top shape, key of which include monitoring the city's internal and external networks and servers to keep them secure and running, including checking for any problems, protecting against viruses, malware, keeping them updated and monitored 7 days a week. I run the help desk to log and resolve all staff reported issues as quickly as efficiently as possible to ensure they are promptly solved and do not reoccur where possible, because we don't like things recurring constantly and having to fix it over and over again. Rather just fix it right the first time. I train city staff on software use and prevent cybersecurity threats such as phishing and impersonation. I also employ measures to protect and monitor against unauthorized access attempts. I handle all communication devices for the city, including mobile phones, desk phones, call queues, telephone menu options, and emergency broadcast systems. I redesigned and run the audio and video for all city council meetings, ensuring clear and smooth streaming, including the microphone I'm using right now to talk to you. I schedule and broadcast all our current live stream meetings and assist staff with event posting and minutes by providing transcriptions after they've been recorded. I manage onboarding and offboarding user accounts and provisioning necessary IT equipment where needed. I manage and maintain the city's social media accounts and the City Hall's business page, keeping our online presence updated and relevant. I maintain, upgrade, and configure all physical servers, firewalls, and workstations for the city, currently excluding the police department only. I manage license and vendor contracts for the services we use, oversee our partnerships with big name corporations like Dell, Verizon, AT&T, Apple, and Google. I replace and schedule devices that are aging out of function to ensure the departments continue to work properly before their devices do. I oversee physical and network security systems, including door controllers, cameras, as well as wiring and programming of said controllers and cameras. I manage the budget for computer and network maintenance and ensure compliance with state regulations like CGIS and Texas Department of Information Resources. I write and update our IT policies to reflect best practices and ensure safety. I handle patch management and asset management to keep our systems updated and secure. I process threat and protection metrics so they can be measured as an understandable rating score in my director's reports. I try to give you all a nice little, here's our percentage likelihood of an attack happening, percentage base, so it's easy to just look at percentage number going up or down. Helps motivate me too, because then I can just look at it and see, here's what I do to raise our score or lower our score appropriately. I advise the city in all technical queries and engage active problem-solving solution to design and improve the city from a technical standpoint. Somebody says, hey, I want to do this. That's my goal. Try to make it happen for them. I manage all the city's copiers and desk printers, including routine maintenance and establishing better contracts for the devices. I have written custom programs and code to assist departments in need of creative solution without breaking a budget to introduce it, such as our website, and I've worked with the museum and our HR department on some custom code. And I'm always available for emergency response calls regarding critical functions like network outages, ensuring all our primary systems have backups and are reliable, and a considerable amount more is needed. Key accomplishments this year, obviously the phone system was a major success. We brought that in just at the end of last year and really ran with it this year. We significantly improved our communication capabilities, not only enhancing the quality and reliability of our phone services, but we also had a substantial cost savings from removing the outdated systems. I'm sure some of the council and residents remember some of the many problems and outages we had with the old system. As of right now, I have yet to experience any major outages with our new system, and we have multiple fallback measures that came with it, so in case anything ever did happen, we've got something ready to go. I oversaw, designed, and helped build a brand new network infrastructure at our new City Hall location, involving creating more than 60 new connections between 2 floors in less than 2 weeks, ensuring all departments have reliable and fast phone and network access, while simultaneously improving the network security between all those networks. They're all segmented now. Nothing talks to anything unless it's supposed to, which from an IT standpoint is big thumbs up. New system has greatly improved our communication, security, and operational efficiency. In addition, I identified and started the implementation of new key options for our backup solutions, providing us with greater control over activating backups in the event of emergencies, while also achieving a cost savings doing that. This enhancement ensures that our data backup is more reliable and our recovery processes are more efficient, allowing us to maintain continuity of services even in challenging situations. Metric-wise, I responded to and resolved an estimated 1,235 problems this fiscal year so far, about 6 a day, on top of doing my regular administrative duties and policy. Next year, my future plans and goals. Number one is going to be, I'd recommend highly moving forward a brand new website design. Dug back through the Wayback Archives. If you're not familiar with it, is a complete history as much as they can archive the entire internet as a whole. You can go back to see things that have never existed anymore, old versions of it. And our website has been the same for about 7 years now. So it's due for a makeover. Study by the Nielsen Norman Group shows that a website is often the first impression residents and businesses get of our city. It should be easy to navigate so users can quickly find what they need, whether it's contacting the right department or paying utility bill. Our city's website must provide a seamless and efficient experience for our users. This updated design would provide better resource access and improve the overall experience for our residents, as well as provide much more functionality for ADA compliance and viewing content in multiple languages, which helps a lot when you do things with grants to say that, yes, our site is ADA compliant. Yes, we do have these features available. It would also do things like improve our online application process, which would make HR's life a little easier with what they have to deal with whenever we get one right now. And sending it to them in, say, an encrypted format, so any sensitive information that would need to be submitted on a job application is automatically sent straight to HR where only they can look at it. I've also submitted a proposal for the new fiscal budget year to add a new technician staff position. Currently, my duties require more than 19 hours of manpower per day to maintain effectively. This workload has been negatively impacting my health over the 3 years since I built this department from the ground up. Without additional support, there is no backup plan for running the department, and all the technology in the city hinges on me constantly providing support and maintenance, even on off days or sick days. I'm still the only one available for answering help tickets and fixing things remotely. A new technician would help distribute the workload, ensuring that our technology remains in top condition and allowing me to continue providing the excellent service I strive to for the city. My third proposal for next fiscal is a full server replacement for City Hall. Our existing server hardware is aging out of its warranty range at the end of this year and will become a liability if not replaced. I've suggested replacing the equipment with a more hands-on solution that relies on more technical skill to operate, but offers a much higher control over managing it, and the cost is significantly lower. especially when it comes to the warranty costs. Right now, we're basically paying for a turnkey solution where they do a lot for us. We can't do a whole lot with it, but the cost goes up with that. I appreciate your support and consideration of these proposals. By investing in our technology, we are investing in the future of our city, ensuring that we can continue to provide excellent service to our community and stay ahead of the ever-evolving technological landscape. And I did my best to avoid using super technical terms, pretty much just I fix things when they're broken.
And we appreciate that. Thank you, Toby. Shelby, you ready?
Ms. Carla Clark? Did you have your hand up?
I would agree on the IT that this gentleman here, Mr. Toby Cohen, would need some additional help. But I was also wondering about the different softwares you use. They don't have their own protection. I know that each department probably has a different software, and Kathy, especially with hers, that they use. So you do the security and everything through those. They don't have their own security systems that they put tickets into. They all go to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
An answer from the voice off screen here. So when it comes to system security, you don't want like a million different protection programs. They're going to butt heads with each other. You basically want as much open communication and internal network as you can while being overly protected from the outside. So you want really firewall security software managing as a whole per site. So City Hall managed per site, you know, any other connected networks, they should all be protected from something separate. You don't want like a finance protection software. You don't want like a water utility protection software. You want where they live to be protected.
But the software that you use, those companies don't have a built-in, like a CAN program that has that protection in it?
I mean, there's auditing, but I mean, at the end of the day, software is software. Something's either attacking it or it's not. You want to prevent the unauthorized attack attempts, and then there's no real like.
So you control the companies, like the software?
The communication, yeah. I open secure channels between us and the vendors so that they can send what they need to without.
So a ticket goes to you, and then you send a ticket to the software people?
If needed.
Okay. So, yeah, but I do agree that he could, yeah, it would be a good idea for him to have some help.
Thank you. All right, Shelby.
I am Shelby Arijo. I am the building official of the building department, which oversees and regulates construction activities throughout Freeport. We ensure that building projects comply with safety codes, zoning regulations, and other relevant laws. Our accomplishments of the year is that we have accomplished the training and implementation, of course with IT's assistance, the new permitting software to provide better services to the citizens and contractors through the online portal. We have demoed 11 buildings and took 23 in front of the Board of Adjustments. We started the educational stages for the new rental inspection program, which is coming along very well. We have had 8 new businesses open and 11 pre-construction meetings for new potential people coming in for businesses here in Freeport. Our goals and objectives is to revise the current sign ordinance to fit the needs of Freeport with the feedback from the community and businesses. We continue to expand the educational program by providing more community education that will reduce the need for re-inspections by having pre-construction meetings and providing inspection checklists and handouts. Our major changes is our salaries have been increased by 3% for cost of living adjustments. Our employee retirement increased by 0.75%. Our health insurance is estimated to increase 10%. All expenditures for code enforcement have been moved over to the police department. We have filled the rental inspection, the rental inspector position, along with another, we have gained a building inspector position as well, and we have filled that. So I'm getting the help. So that's all I have. I'm quick and easy.
Thank you, and thank you for keeping it short.
Yes.
Rudy, I understand you've been waiting all day for this moment.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Rudy Regal, the Director of Public Works. It's just a small department, correct? No, the City of Freeport Public Works Department is comprised of 5 main divisions: streets, drainage, parks and grounds, building maintenance, administration, recreation department. The staff of 33 full-time, 2 part-time, and 16 seasonal lifeguards who possess special skills and knowledge acquired through education, training, and experience to meet the public's needs. Some of the many duties and responsibilities of the department include maintaining 73 miles of drainage, 21 miles of culvert piping, 63 miles of streets, 68 miles of sidewalks, 1.8 miles of walking trail, 20 miles of alley. We also maintain signage, perform pothole repairs, and maintain 112 city lots. And all that, we also do fleet maintenance. We perform sweeping on streets, multi-use paths, and parking lots. We remove hazardous objects from right-of-ways, control vegetation along with streets and drainage, perform storm and debris cleanup, assist with seasonal events, provide after-hours emergency coverage, construction inspection on capital improvement projects also. Within the department, we also have the administrative services. They provide customer service and reception, provide financial analysis for the Public Works Department, and generates work orders, maintains the city fuel operation, and assists with seasonal events. In the parks and grounds, we maintain 9 parks, perform weed control, landscape, baseball and softball field maintenance, football, soccer field maintenance, litter control of parks and open spaces, maintain and repair on park equipment, the sanitation of park restrooms and rental facilities. We also set up for rentals, do beach litter control and maintenance, and assist with seasonal and special events. And that we also provide after hours and on-call coverage. Building maintenance. We do perform AC repairs on facilities, I promise. It's on its way. Because I'm sweating like y'all are up here, I promise. So we also perform electrical repairs on city facilities, as well as plumbing and carpentry. And we also do streetlight repairs, install equipment for the operation of city facilities, and assist with seasonal events. And they also provide after hours and emergency coverage. With recreation, we maintain the recreation center, which includes basketball court, racquetball, weight room, and the community pool. Sanitation of facilities, organize and manage youth and adult programs, organize and plan events such as Holiday on the Brazos, Fright Night, Daddy-Daughter Dance, Extravaganza, and Riverfest. Our major accomplishments this year was Phase 1 and 2 of concrete road improvements, the wastewater collection line improvements, and the continuation of the sidewalk replacement program. Our needs for the upcoming budget is a new skid steer, along with a John Deere Gator and 2 zero-turn mowers. Do y'all have any questions? Yes, sir.
2
Skid
zero
steer.
turns.
A John Deere Gator and 2 zero-turn mowers. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy.
That boy, Rudy, that a boy.
And thanks for getting that air conditioner going. All right, Kathy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I kind of want to touch on something that Shelby said in her presentation. When we first started the budget process, we were estimating a 10% increase in health insurance, so they got to see the preliminary. However, the bids have come in, and we're not expecting expecting any increase in health insurance costs
Way to
this year.
go.
So, Donna and the new firm got us to where we're expecting a 0% increase. So I kind of want to touch on that because they did have that in their preliminary numbers, because we're still fine tuning those. The administration budget. The administration budget includes the city manager, city secretary, finance, human resources, and GIS property. I'm going to handle some of them. Donna's going to step up for human resources. The biggest accomplishments in 23-24, we moved City Hall. We hired a new city engineer by going through the request for qualifications, and we've sent out just recently proposals for city attorney services on the admin side. And then we are going to continue to find ways to provide services for the most effective and efficient way to the citizens. On the finance payroll side, in 23-24, we scanned all of our 23-24 records in invoices, adjusting journal entries, bank reconciliation, and miscellaneous records. We have reviewed all of our still dated checks. This hadn't been done prior to me coming in. We went back. We've reissued any checks that we could reissue and turned everything over to the state as a sheet property. This was a big undertaking that my assistant finance director took upon herself to do, and now she does it on a regular basis. This year, the 23-24 budget did receive the Distinguished Budget Award from the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada. So that is a big accomplishment for a hand-inputted budget. We created the EFT policy, and we revised the purchasing policy. My goals for 24-25 is to create a transparency program, to create a 5-year capital program, obtain the Distinguished Budget Award, and to obtain the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. My supplemental request, again, is for budgeting software. Mr. Petty has seen my struggles with having a manual budget process. This software is not only for budgeting, it will help create that 5-year capital plan. It will also create the transparency program to be placed on our website for the citizens. So this is a tool that is multifaceted to help me do the things that I need to do to move the city of Freeport forward. And I cannot continue to do it manually. I just do not have the time in the day to do it that way. So that is my biggest request for finance, and it's my only request again this year, is for that budgeting software. I'm also in charge of municipal court. This year they continue to work on the backlog of cases. They're averaging about 150 cases going before the judges a month. Judge Miller does our prelims. He's the one handling most of them, and then Judge Gerard handles the other cases. They began scanning their records into court, and the court supervisor obtained her Court Clerk 1 certification. The goals for 24-25 is to complete the work of the backlog cases. These two ladies in the court work tirelessly. The work that they've done is been excellent, and they are staying on top of it, as well as working with the judges. For the court supervisor to obtain her Court Clerk 2 certification, and for the court clerk to obtain her Clerk 1 certification. I am also over utility billing. In 23-24, restructured the department and promoted 2 employees, one to utility billing clerk and the other to customer service clerk 2. All 3 of my clerks are bilingual. So there's never not anyone to not service the customers who is not bilingual. We did open the drive-through at the new city hall to better serve the customers. They still aren't utilizing it as much as I'd like, so we're going to work on that. And then we've created a lot of different forms to help keep a better paper trail of what is done. Nothing's done over the phone anymore. Everything has to have a form completed so that we have documentation that it was done. Goals for 24-25 is to continue to find ways to make the customer service more effective and efficient. This is the second big request that I have. Obtain an automated meter reading system to where we will take our billing from 15 days to 3 days. This will also, the 15 days is including rereads. We can go to 3 days, including rereads. It will also allow us to offer an app to all citizens of Freeport so they can monitor their own water usage, track their bills, alert if they use over a certain gallon, help them, spot leaks, different things like that. It's a tool that I think is necessary for the city and for the citizens. Another supplemental request that I did ask for is an additional clerk. The additional clerk would allow for me to keep the drive-through open all the time. Now I have to close the drive-through from 11 to 1 to cover lunch hours, and if one of my clerks is out, I have to shut down the drive-through because I just don't have the coverage. Also, this would allow for a lot of cross-training to where if the court clerk is out, I can cross-train them, and permit clerk as well, kind of get everyone cross-trained. That's all I have.
Nice. We got a question over here for you.
Did you say you asked for budget software last year?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Kathy. Ms. Clark?
Carla Clark, 411 Sailfish. On the insurance and retirement for the staff, from what I understood from last year's budget, we still pay, or the city still pays 100% medical, dental, and vision, and there's no input from the employee. Is that correct? No?
The city pays for 100% of employee-only coverage for medical, dental, and vision, and they pay 40% of employee dependents on the base plan.
So it is 100% per employee, but then they pay an additional 40 for all their children or one spouse or
dependent care if they want it.
any dependent, like if I've got 5 kids and 1 husband, the city pays for 40% of that.
Yes.
Okay, and on their match on the retirement, what's the city's match on the retirement?
2 to 1.
2 to 1. Okay. I think this is someplace, I know your employees are good and people are asking for more, but I don't know that there are probably any other governmental entities that do this much up and above for their employees. I think it's a lot, and you guys are very fortunate to have this because this is a lot.
Ms. Fisher?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm
evening.
Donna Fisher, Human Resources Director. Up until February of 2024, I was a department of 1. I now have an HR assistant, so we are looking forward to being able to do a few more things or keep a few more things from falling behind. One of the big areas that we have is talent acquisition. We engage department heads in the recruitment process so that they can have the best candidates for their positions. We work with them to develop accurate job postings, job descriptions. We keep track of each applicant submitted, which is why one of my supplemental requests is for a more robust tracking system that would help us in our marketing efforts. In fiscal year 23, Human Resources processed 304 applications. Through June 18th of 2024, Human Resources has processed 379 applications. And the tracking system that we have does not give us a lot of the metrics that we would like to have. We assist department heads in structuring interview questions, sit on interview panels, other assistance during the interview process. Once the department heads check the references and made a conditional job offer, then we make sure the pre-employment screens are conducted, which include drug testing, criminal history check, medical, physical. All of that is just to hire someone. Then we've got the new hire orientation, which is really more new hire paperwork at this point. But we assist employees with completing the new hire paperwork. We use digital training for cybersecurity, sexual harassment, and ethics training. And we give every new employee a printed version of the most up-to-date policy manual. Performance management is another area. Even during years where there is not a merit increase that's not feasible, performance management still helps supervisors and employees to have discussions about job performance, work objectives, clear expectations. And then I will work with department heads to help them with either counseling employees or when employees need an discipline, working on, yes, this is a violation of this policy, or no, that's really something you need to make the expectations clear. Training and development. We are always looking for options for skills and knowledge development for all of our employees. Last year, we did have Eileen Bagley from Olson & Olson come and do a harassment awareness and prevention class for all of our supervisors, from first line up to department head. Compensation management and payroll processing. We work with finance on that. We are responsible for quarterly unemployment reports, the annual W-2s, and as part of our compensation management, if the budget allows, we are looking to propose a residency incentive to get employees to move to Freeport. The medical, dental, vision, and other benefits. Kathy's already talked about that some. She and I work closely together on the contractual and financial aspects. Our consultant, Hub International, became our consultant in April, and they have done a wonderful job at keeping costs down. We don't have the final numbers yet. We will have them by the second council meeting in July, but we have been told no increase. Employee relations, a lot of that's done through policies. We are systematically reviewing and updating the policy manual to make the policies relevant, to make them understandable, and to keep them up to date with current laws. Just this year, we have made revisions to the social media policy, the drug-free workplace policy, the harassment in the workplace policy, the application process policy, the leave donation policy, the tuition reimbursement policy, and the ethics policy. And I've still got a few months left to revise some more. We also want to work on employee relations through communication. Any employee can come to my office at any point in time for any matter of concern. We can't always match the pay of other cities, but we can treat our employees in a manner that motivates them to stay with us. There is not a single employee that I would not welcome in my office to talk about whatever they need to talk about, whether it be personal, professional. And then one of the final areas is workers' compensation. We ensure that all workers' compensation claims are processed within the deadlines required by the Texas Department of Insurance. We make sure that the employee and the supervisor are informed of the status of the claim and help manage the claims process. We work with treating physicians. We work with Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool, who handles our workers' comp. And we have the goal of reducing claims. We also have an annual workers' compensation audit where we sit down and look at what our claims were over the past year, how that compares to our total payroll, what departments are having more claims, and then we look at safety trainings to help reduce those claims. So, and I'm sure I probably have forgotten some of what we do in HR. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Ms. Dancy? No, I don't have a form up here on you yet.
No, sir, I'll fill one out.
Thank you.
Pam Dancy, South Front Street. I'm just I'm a little weary here because last year, City Hall asked for additional staff in the office, and we were told that everybody was going to be cross-trained then. And I believe Mr. Councilman Matamoros had brought that up too, as being cross-trained, and now we're talking about it again now. But it just seems like to me that our government, our City Hall, is getting larger, but we haven't gained more citizens. And I would like that to be kind of thought, as we're getting more policies, but we don't have the citizens. It seems like it's just big government happening here, and which means more money's being spent. Just something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nancy. Chief Howell.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
To touch on the police department, so to go through some of our achievements for the 23-24 year, we did some partial salary increases for some of our key positions such as officers, dispatchers, jailers, and animal control. This allowed us to be able to approach our recruiting a little more aggressively and increase our ability to become more of a competitive police department. We started implementing some cross-training and succession planning for the future. We have of course, y'all all know recently regarding Captain Gilchrist, but we do have several other key players in our organization that have 25 years or more of service. And so any day they could just decide they're tired and retire, but preparing and everything again for that succession plan. We also redesigned our organization chart, which included the corporal positions, which was created last year, again allowing for that succession planning and a better division of labor. We updated our technology to be able to stay up to date and then also in compliance with some of the things like CJIS with Criminal Justice Information System or TCIC or the FBI requirements. We became reaccredited as a recognized agency through the Texas Police Chiefs Association. Halfway through the year, the Code and Building Department had separated, as Shelby had mentioned, and the Code Department was moved to the Police Department as a new unit for us. And then also we increased community programs to include like our Citizens Police Academy, and our Explorers program will be starting up soon. So for our goals and objectives for the 24-25 year, I'd request finance and everything to take the Code Department budget and the Police Department budget and to merge those into one. Right now we've been running off two budgets, and since they are now going to be one department, I had requested and everything to merge those two departments as one as far as finance goes. With that, one of my requests would also be for finance to receive her budget software to be able to help better and everything with some of those. Also to continue in everything, reviewing on salary increases and looking at to be able to provide a new pay matrix potentially for the 25-26 year. Increase and aggressively train and develop and mentor our staff to be able to better serve our citizens, which also includes continuing on with some additional cross-training positions. We want to aggressively pursue grants more. Anytime I can save the city some funds, we definitely want to take on those options. Also want to work more towards updating some of our city ordinances that are rather outdated and align it more with 21st century policing and more of what the needs of the community are currently. Also, previously in everything, they had last year had taken the IT account and made it one large account for the city, which Toby was utilizing on that means. At the police department, we actually have kind of our own IT person. He is actually a licensed officer, so he wears many hats in our department and is a very key player. His title is that of a detective, but he does run all the IT for the police department. He also handles all the grants, and then he oversees a number of our projects that we have going on as well. And so I'd like to be able to have that IT budget back for the police department for us to be able to kind of maintain everything, the different things that we have going on in the police department. Because for police departments in city, there's two different sets of requirements that are associated with those. And so when Toby talks about some of the different software and everything, and they do need that stuff and they do need the antivirus, but we have certain guidelines and requirements that the state and the federal government sets on us and tells us what we're going to have in order to be a police department. Also want to redesign the code operations to better align with the police department's mission, vision, and core values. And so with that, creating a more positive code enforcement interaction in the community as compared to some of the interactions that have occurred in the past. So part of my request and everything are, again, combining that PD and code budget into one, finance getting that budget software. I'd like to look at a 5% COLA increase in everything for all of our staff across the board. I was also asking for additional personnel, either in two different realms, to either A, have one additional admin position, then that way I can take some of those duties off of sergeants to be able to have them more out in the field, or B, have two additional patrol officers, and money-wise would be around about the same, to be able to have more staff and everything out on the streets. I was also requesting and everything some additional supplies, such as like some stop sticks and our SWAT gear. The vests that our SWAT guys currently wear and everything are outdated, and wanting to get those up to compliance. And then again, separating out the IT account to be able to have the police department stand separately on its own with that. We'd like to continue with our vehicle rotation of 3 units every year, which is what we've done in the past, just to be able to keep down on lower maintenance costs for the city and rotate those out. And then we'd also like to make some changes there to the police department, some updates, such as having like a designated interview room, which would require a little bit of remodel, kind of like with our conference room. Right now, when people come to the police department to file a report, we don't have a quiet or a designated area. They just have to be brought back into the general area with everyone else. And if you have something that's very personal, such as being a victim of a sexual assault, of a robbery, or potentially you just witnessed a homicide, there's no private area for us to be able to conduct that interview with them. In addition to and everything, some updates for our dispatch consoles, and then some radar and LiDAR guns to be able to help out with the traffic enforcement as well. Any questions over anything? And yes, we are the most costly department in the city. We do know that. We're the most hated, we're the most costly, but it's unfortunately a necessity as well.
Nice. Anybody got anything for Chief? Save it for later, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna save mine for city manager.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you.
Last but not least, Chief Miley.
Evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Just kind of brief over what we do at the fire department itself. For Freeport Fire and EMS, we address fire protection, rescue, emergency medical services, and emergency management. So we have multi-missions there under one department. So you may hear Freeport Fire or Freeport EMS, we're the same, under the same umbrella, doing the same job with the same number of people. But I want to point out on the achievements for 2023-24 achievements. We addressed our EMS billing reduction and collection rate, and I established charity care pay, which went in place last November. We did see some good revenue produced out of that. You know, they dropped from 11% on theirs down to 8.5%, so that was a significant change. You recently approved the interlocal agreement for public safety radio communications with Port of Freeport and Industry. That's moving forward in progress. We also are managing pretty well with a aging fleet. Our ambulance has been upgraded from the COVID money, where we're seeing our aging fleet as in our fire truck. We got a fire truck about 21 years old. The other one's about 17 years, and then, of course, 7 years after that. So we're managing that right now with a decent preventive maintenance program on the two. The third one is questionable at times when we go out there and start her up, see what she's going to do, but doing well on that. And our biggest accomplishments or achievements have been as well is brought back before you the FEMA American Firefighter Grant, which this year was 24 radios that were purchased. They've been bought. They've been paid for. Now we're working on the plug code. The year before that was the training grant for over $100,000. We're administrating that now and looking for an extension on that because of COVID played a role in being able to go to school and things like that. Our goals and objectives for 24 and 25 is to implement a consistent training program for fire suppression, EMS, and technical rescue. Currently, we have 5 that have been through the technical rescue class. Recently, a week to 2 weeks ago, we had 2 in Angleton, which we hosted that as a department in the state of Texas at the Angleton Fire Field, where TDM came in and hosted free tuition on that. That accomplishment trained 15 firefighters in the state of Texas. The other thing in the goals and objectives for next year of opening up Station 2 and properly distributing our equipment and personnel for better response on the north end of the town. So that includes from the old river to the north city limits. So also looking at recruit and retention of personnel within career and reserve membership. We're looking at that on policy right now on reserve membership, which is the volunteer program. We're bringing that back in and implementing that. We're currently in the process, but finishing up in the next year's fiscal year will be establishing a training plan for all personnel to address the response needs in the community and document it properly. Right now, we've made the first steps and established the Texas Commission on Fire Protection, the training program, so we can teach in-house instead of sending our folks out for a lot of their certifications. Right now, it's Fire Officer 1, Inspector, Instructor. We're still working on the basic commission class as a firefighter. So that's one of our internal goals there as well. So that would address our reserve membership as well. When we look over our budget that we presented to city administration and to you as well, it's pretty tight. In 7 years, I think last year was the first time we really asked for an increase, and that was in vehicle maintenance. We kind of moved money around as things happened to address those needs as they came up. This year, we sat down and went by each line item like we do each year, but said, all right, we have to increase in certain places. So we've made those adjustments in the budget itself as our proposal. But a lot of that was based on actual cost. Printing costs went up for copiers than what we were paying. Our PPE expenses have gone up, meaning our protective gear, but we're also having to be compliant with the standard as well, that we're sending it off to be tested and make sure it's stitched, or the water, the vapor barrier is protecting the firefighter that he doesn't get steam burn. So we're meeting those mandates as well. And with our shortage, we can't do that in-house. We're not seamstress either, so we have to ship that out for work. So that's created some of our increase. The other thing we looked at in one of our increases is looking at the Knox Box program. And one of our capital proposals was administrating that to our city buildings. So if I need to go to Brian's building in the middle of the night because something's going on in the golf course, I don't want to break down a door and cost him $1,000. It'd be easier to unlock it with a key and go on in for about $400. So looking at that whole program citywide is one of our proposals. Prevention program, we're looking at adding a smoke alarm program to it to the city. We've seen a couple calls where that initial call is very important between everybody getting out or barely getting out. That was significant over on West, I believe it was West 10th Street at 7:30 in the morning when the child found the fire to notify the parents when the smoke alarm should have went off. So we're looking at addressing that in our National Night Out program and stuff like that next year. Outside of that, our maintenance was increased based on actual numbers. We ship everything out because our equipment is pretty heavy. Fire truck's not an average thing. You roll in there and a 2-ton juck's going to lift it up. Ambulances are getting out of the way as well when you're up to 450 or 550 chassis. So we're pretty much shipping everything out to a mechanic shop, not only for that, doing undercarriage work, but when you get into the computer side of new vehicles, it's the technology that's catching up with them. So that's where our increases are coming from. I also manage 2 budgets, a fire and EMS budget. EMS is kept separate so that we can actually break away when we apply for grant reimbursement or for Medicaid, Medicare. It's shown that for our expenses overall. In there is the same cost that we address on the fire budget with PPE, because PPE in that chapter addresses those employees paid out of that account. So that's why that increases that. And some of the other prevention programs, just like our ZOL, our cardiac monitors, they're outsourced to make sure that they work. So if there is a problem, third-party review has taken care of that. So that's the only increase we've added this year. And outside of that, other than my capital proposal, let me get to that page real quick. We had proposed a software program for the arson investigator, but we're going to step out of that this time and reevaluate that with existing programs. I mentioned earlier about Knox Box entry program. It's listed as a capital as well. And then I had submitted, just to keep in front, back into our strategic plan of adding 3 EMS personnel only, division of labor, because our EMS calls are starting to go up as well. But that will determine later in the budget if it's acceptable or not. I will say this, that under grant awards, we were awarded in November, end of October, $100,000 towards a truck chassis, large chassis on a wildland vehicle. I've approached the industry on that. I visit with the neighboring community tomorrow night to see where their support is on this. I've asked full support on it, but I would like to ask for the whole truck in the budget if possible, if it does not make it through. So that's a multi-purpose vehicle. I've applied for 3 other grants, but they're not really need to be budgeted, and that's the SAFER grant, a replacement vehicle grant, and fire equipment as well. So just inform city administration what those costs were, the estimated cost on that. So that's all we're working on at this time. That's all I have to conclude at this time. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Council, do y'all have any questions or comments for Carla Clark? You got one more question. Come on.
Carla Clark, 411 Sailfish. On for Kathy, maybe. How many abatements do we have going off? And payments in lieu of? How many are those are still going to be paying in? Our preliminary values from the CAD, or is that what you said a while ago, that you didn't see any change in? That they said there would be no change? So if we've got any numbers on that, is it gone up or gone down? The website for the city, as far as I could see, out where I live in Bridge Harbor, we couldn't get out of our homes for 2 days because of the water, and it's the tide. And I realized in town here, sun was shining, a little bit of rain, no problem, but we couldn't get out for 2 days. Who maintains that road that comes in off of 332, be it Sailfish or Casco? Does the city maintain that, the county? Who maintains that? And then also, I never once saw any vehicles from the city on our police department or our emergency department to come out to check out there. And the other thing is, people were going like out the in the out road, which was the most logical thing to do because you couldn't get around to go the other way. But if we had at least someone at the PD when those situations happen, I mean, this was totally unexpected, but it's like we were just kind of left out there because everybody keeps forgetting Bridge Harbor. And so we make some kind of arrangement for someone to go in and out. Like they had some blockage down there where you go in on Casco, but people just picked them up and moved and went sightseeing anyway. And, you know, that water, when it pushes in, it's not good for your property. And we just need a better way to maneuver traffic out there when that happens and to keep people out that shouldn't be in there.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Council, do you have any closing statements? We'll start with you, Councilman Davis. Start with the rookie.
All right. First of all, I want to thank all of y'all for coming out and all the hard work that y'all are doing. Sounds like, you know, a lot of people are wearing several different hats in their department. And, you know, they say Freeport's not growing, but I think we've been understaffed for a while. And, you know, so I applaud y'all for all the hard work that y'all doing, you know, to make up for what that is. So hopefully we can come together and try to get some help out there. What else? But thank y'all. Thank y'all for all that y'all do. Yeah.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Matamoros.
Thank you, Mayor. So Thank you for each of your presentations, your time, giving us your highlights and your requests. There are some things within your request that, of course, we're not going to be able to meet. We don't have enough funds. I wish we could. But we do have to think about our residents and that. I will be bringing a list of questions to Lance on what y'all have stated that y'all would like to have, your needs. So just be prepared. And once again, thank y'all.
Councilman Rosso.
Yes, I'd also like to thank everyone for coming out. You department heads, my hat's off to each and every one of you because I know that you're doing your best with what you have. Hopefully we can meet some of the requests. I think, and I'll say it again, I think you department heads are doing a great job. So what I can tell you is keep up the good work. All I got.
Thank you, Councilman. I too would like to thank everybody. You know, the hard work that you put into it just at this point. And you know, we still have until October to, I guess, to get this finished. So I want to thank you also for the hard work that is coming. But also for the hard work that y'all put into the city on a daily, even when we're not working on the budget. My hat's off to all of y'all. I know there's no one in here that wears only one hat during the day. You know, and it does get frustrating, it gets difficult at times, but y'all are doing a great job, and keep it up. Mr. Petty?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'd like to thank all the department heads. They're doing a great job. They're representing the city well and their departments. We will be putting together the most conservative budget that we can and still provide excellent service to our citizens. That is the goal every year. Kathy and I will now start to work after this presentation. We should have y'all's proposed budgets to you July 1st council meeting or July 15th council meeting, the second meeting in July. Once we get that book out to y'all, we'll start scheduling some one-on-one meetings with y'all to go line item by line item so everyone knows exactly what we're looking at in the budget, so there's no questions at all. If I need department heads to come in as well for their budgets, we'll do that as well. But I'm a firm believer in getting y'all in there and going line item by line item so you really understand the budget and what you're voting on. So that'll be our next steps, and we have been waiting on some numbers from the county and things like that. So a lot of our numbers as far as your health insurance go are assumptions until they actually come in. And we cannot afford all the supplemental needs, but we'll look at them and make the best decisions for the city of Freeport.
Thank you. We got one more comment over here.
Yeah, one more. It was a good thing to see too that every one of y'all had goals, and goals is the key to success and growth. So it was good to see that, and we know that we have people in position that has goals for their job, for their positions, for their city. And, you know, once again, thank y'all, and keep pushing on them goals, and hopefully we can come together and help y'all make them goals come to reality.
Thank you, Councilman. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Matamoros. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Rosso seconds. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ladies and gentlemen, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.